Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sully Squad. How's everybody doing out there?
What's up, man?
Happy, happy times in Philadelphia sport. Well, I guess you could say happy times, right?
Yeah.
Phillies are 3-6, but we got Sixers entering the playoffs. So Phillies with a pretty good weekend. They took 2 or 3, but I think yesterday kind of left a bad taste in people's mouths.
Yep, absolutely. A lot of walks, a lot of miscues, and all that other stuff we talked about.
Way too many mistakes. So we're going to do a lot of Phillies talk. We got we're going to deep dive into the Sixers. I love the matchup versus the Nets.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think we could have. Now, I may regret my words in 10 to 12 days, but honestly, I feel like the Nets is probably the best matchup we could ask for in the first round. I'd much rather them than, say, the Miami Heat. You know what I mean?
True. It's like a tune-up.
Yeah. So we're going to get into that. We got, of course, the NFL draft in a couple weeks, so we'll get some draft talk. And, I know, Paul, you're a big Flyers guy, and I was flipping channels last night. And I'll tell you, I never in my wildest dreams, especially if I took a time machine and went back to 2010 when we played the Bruins in the playoffs, I would have never guessed that I would have heard a whole stadium in Philadelphia or arena, I should say, of Boston fans yelling, "We want the cup." Boy, the times have definitely gone dark for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's same thing. What, a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, the whole stadium was Rangers fans.
Yeah,
true.
So we're not going anywhere. As of yesterday, we were 7th worst in the NHL, lost 7 in a row. Torts is benching D'Angelo for who knows what reason.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing really much to see there. Just hope they slip a little further to get a higher, odds at getting a higher draft pick this year, because,
absolutely,
this year's a wash. Tell you the truth, I really haven't watched many games. I follow what's going on with them and, and stats and stuff like that. But yeah, they're just not a good team to watch. So, and I don't see, it's definitely a problem. Other teams taking over stadium, but what's they going to do? The Flyers are just trash right now.
I hear you. So, all right, we're gonna get into all that and more. We're a little shorthanded tonight. Mike Fuji is down actually at the Phillies game, and Diego will be hopping on in a few minutes. So far, I got my man Sean to my left. What's up, Sean? How you doing, bro?
Man? How are you? What's up?
I got my man Euro Paul right of the screen. What's up, Paul?
What's up, man? How are you?
Good. So I guess what. Let's start off with some Phillies here. The Reds game yesterday. My God, I mean, even if they had won that game, just the base running in general. I mean, have you ever seen? I don't think I can ever recall a team like early in the season that had this many base running errors. I mean, it's like Little League out there.
Well, who do you blame? Do you blame the first base coach?
Third base coach too. I think he waving around
Schwarber.
No, not Schwarber. Marsh.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Marsh. And I saw him waving him around on that hit, waving him around. And the last second, he put up the stop brakes.
Okay.
And he was already halfway down the line. So I blame the coach on that one. Yeah. But both coaches actually made mistakes, but also players too, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say I blame the players too. I mean, what the hell? What the hell was Castellanos thinking on that one yesterday? I mean, first off, Schwarber should have been thrown out. I mean, the only reason he was safe is the ball. Thank God it hit him in the back, right? So Schwarber should have been thrown out. And here you got Castellanos trying to score all the way from home on that play. I mean, that was absolutely ridiculous,
True.
And then later in the game, in the I want to say it was either the 7th or the 8th inning, Schwarber gets a hit and he makes another out in between first and second.
8th.
Was it the 8th? Okay.
Yes.
You just can't do that stuff. And then another one. I was a big fan of the Taiwan Walker signing. And I still think it's going to be a good signing, but way too many walks his first 2 starts.
Yeah.
The whole team too is, I have a great stat on Sir Anthony Dominguez too. I'm going to roll out soon, but way too many walks. But also, how many? What was that? A couple of games ago, it was like the top 3 of our lineup had 3 strikeouts each.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were just looking with the bat on your shoulder. And I mean, freaking
Swing. I read.
and the down the plate. Why aren't you freaking swinging? Like
Exactly. I was always taught, don't look, swing.
Yes.
You'd rather go out swinging than not swing. You know.
Too many looking third strikes.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. Exactly. You know what I mean? He who looks goes. You know, it's like in many different analogies, but he who looks usually doesn't succeed. You know, it's like the single guy at the bar that just sits there and looks. Guess what? He goes home alone all the time. You know what I'm saying? Looking only gets you so far. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you one thing though, Sir Anthony Dominguez. You want to hear a crazy stat?
Sure.
Shoot.
He's been in 5 games this year. 5 games, 4 innings pitched, gave up 7 earned runs. Last year, he pitched in 54 games, 51 innings, only gave up 17 earned runs all year. He gave up 7 now in 5 games.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, do you? They were commenting on the broadcast yesterday. You know, it looked like he was like kind of racing. Do you think the?
Yeah, I think the pitch clock is really messing with him, man.
I just was going to say that. I think the pitch clock is getting into. I don't care how good you are, into some of the pitchers' heads, like Paul said. You know, you
got 20 seconds, right?
Yeah.
If you have to, let it go down to 1 or 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, something. Oh, you know, and what's the worst case can happen? You learn once. Oh, I get a ball's called. Okay. But you know, you gotta work it out and like, you know, take your time. Use all 20 seconds if you have to, because I think the pitch clock stops once you're in your windup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, dude, take your time. Then take the 3 seconds.
Or you get burnt and you know not to do it again. It's
exactly.
I mean, you know, you want it to be constant, repetitive, with keep over like violating the clock, but I think it's getting in a lot of guys' heads, like you said earlier. But
yeah, it's not all bad though. I mean, I was encouraged by how Bailey Falter's been pitching.
Yeah,
me too.
How about that,
He
man?
that early home run, and then he came back and gave up nothing for the rest of the game innings. And also, I'm impressed with Bohm too. Bohm's off to a great start with hitting.
Yes, and Stott too.
Well, I was going to say how about Stott? I mean, not only Stott has at least 1 hit in every single game. He's playing extremely well, and he's actually batting leadoff tonight. They have Stott batting leadoff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I'm definitely for moving him up. I'm a little surprised they didn't bat him second though, because to me, I mean, wouldn't it mean? I mean, hey, who am I to question Rob Thompson? I mean, he did a great job last year. But to me, it would make more sense to have Turner bat leadoff and have Stott back second, because then if Turner gets on, you have that big hole in between first and second where Turner could go first to third.
Yeah, you got.
You know, but I mean, but I am happy.
He's been strong a little bit though. Yeah.
You know,
he's been strong a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say the last 2 games for Turner, he started off great, obviously, and we all know the guy's a great ball player, but. Yeah, the last few games he struggled, and I'll tell you what, man, that game you were at on Saturday, Paul. What was his name? Ladola? How do you say his name?
Ladola. Yeah, he's solid.
That dude is filthy, bro. Now, you know, like I said, we have a bad taste in our mouth from yesterday's game because yesterday feels like it should have been a win. Now Saturday's game felt like an L all game long.
Oh, absolutely.
And that was extremely encouraging. And I'll tell you, you mentioned Stott and you mentioned Bohm. Castellanos, you know what I'm impressed by him? He's not swinging as many. He doesn't seem to be chasing the ball as much as he was last year.
He's not wheeling and dealing, swinging at a lot of pitches. Yeah.
You know, right.
Yeah. Also, yeah, I know, I get it, but also he's been taking a lot of third strike calls too, though.
I hear you, but I'm just saying in particular, I think he's already got about 4 or 5 doubles, which is encouraging. I'd like to see him hit one out of the park. You know,
I know his power is not there. Also, correct me if I'm wrong. Turner hasn't hit one yet either, has he?
He hasn't. No, and
he's been hitting no homers since the WBC.
Yeah. So
we're spring training, I should say.
But I was. You mentioned, you know, with Castellanos though, that at bat on Saturday where he worked that walk, that was a really good at bat, and then I loved. I think your seats were right. Were your seats on the third base side, Paul?
Yes. Right where the curve is. Yes.
So you
Right
were
by the foul pole on the
okay.
right field. Yeah.
So you weren't too far away where he was. I loved how he was messing with the pitcher, like going all the way down the third baseline and all like that. I love stuff like that, man. I feel like baseball. I feel like baseball in general kind of needs more of that. That type of laughter, trash talk, however you want to put it. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean they were encouraging signs, and I'll tell you another another encouraging sign. And if Kimbrel and Sir Anthony are going to continue to struggle, I'll tell you what, you may want to put you may want to put Alvarez in the Alvarado in the closer role.
Yeah.
I mean that dude is filthy, man. I think he's
roll,
out just about every guy he got out this year.
Yes.
Yeah, give up nothing so far, yeah.
His slider's wicked, man.
It's
just filthy. And his velocity goes up. It never goes down.
Yeah.
And when he finds that zone, good luck.
Yeah.
We did. I did hear today though that Ranger Suarez is going to throw like a bullpen session. I think today.
Okay.
He's on his way back very soon, and also Christopher Sanchez also is on his way back.
Nice.
To help us in the pen and all. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's. Suarez is the guy we need because the guy we have pitching tonight from Boston.
Stram.
Yeah, Stram. He I would much rather have him in the bullpen because that way maybe he can come in earlier instead of Alvarado, and you can have Alvarado in that 8th, 9th inning role. Where right now, without him in the pen, you have to bring Alvarado in like sometimes in the 6th inning. And that's and that's one of the like you mentioned Bailey Falter as an encouraging sign, and that really was because right now he's one of the few guys that's at least giving you 5-6 innings each time out.
Yeah, he's striking guys out. He's pitching solid. Yeah.
Well, and the thing that's really encouraging, the thing I like about Falter is he battles out there. Like you saw the other day, he gave up that bomb like right as the game started. And he didn't have his great stuff early. I mean, he was getting the ball up. Like Bailey Falter's got to keep the ball down. He's the kind of guy that he needs to keep that ball down. He was getting his ball up a little bit, but he found a way to pitch through it, and I thought he did a really good job. The kid, what did he give us? 5 innings Saturday. 5, right?
Yep.
5.
No, he had like 90 pitches at 5 innings, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say he had settled down so much. I was actually thinking maybe they were going to let him start the 6th because I think he had gotten like 11 out of 12 guys out or something like that. You know what I mean? But I guess it's one of those things where you don't want to tempt fate. A guy like Falter, even though he was settled down, they may not want the lineup to see him 3 times through. You know what I mean? That could be one of those things.
No, so tonight we're going up against Alcantara, Cy Young Award winner. How many strikeouts do you think we're getting tonight? After 14 the other day.
The way he pitches, I'll say 10 plus maybe.
Yeah, well you saw Jake. I mean, they have a lot. The Phillies got a lot of lefties in the line. I think they got like Cody Clemens in the lineup. They got
Cave.
Cave.
Subs in the night.
I'll tell you what. If you ever want a reason to not take too much out of spring training stats, look at the difference between Jake Cave spring training and Bryson Stott. Like Bryson Stott was struggling in spring training.
And vice versa.
He comes up here and kills it. Jake Cave really hasn't done much. You know what I'm saying?
No, he hasn't. Yeah.
So, but all right, we'll here. Let's continue getting on the Marlins series. Hang on, I'm gonna add our man, Mr. 6 for 6, Diego Bianchi. What's up, bro?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Hey, man, how are you?
Man.
Doing pretty good. So, we're starting off with a little Phillies here. We were kind of saying how it was nice that they took 2 out of 3. As the saying goes, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. But in this case, we were kind of pissed off about yesterday's game. And right now we're getting into some more, this Marlins series, and we're hoping they can right the ship. What's your thoughts on this Marlins series? Because they got what's his name, Paul Alcantara, right? The
Alcantara tonight, yeah. Cy Young
So
winner.
it's going to be a tough one.
We beat them a couple of times last year, though, didn't we?
Yeah, it was like 2-1 or some shit like that, like really low scoring. We got like 2 runs off them or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to bring our best pitcher when we go up against a guy like that, no matter what. I think the Phillies. I felt like they were going to start off slow, so I'm not panicking or nothing on them yet. I think they'll get back on track with this Marlins series here.
Yeah.
Take 2 out of 3.
Yeah, well, I'm just. I know it's funny though. Like I agree with you. I'm just hoping one of those is tonight because even though it's early, I really don't want to look at 3 and 7. So I'm hoping they could at least. And that's why yesterday's game, again, it's April, so it's not like you're out of it. But I was really
Definitely
hoping.
not. The Braves and Mets have been taking it losses from Padres and
that was a
stuff
good game
yesterday.
last
They
night.
got their ass beat.
Yeah,
And we were 5 games behind, and now we're only 2.5, I think.
Yeah.
And the Mets been losing
early.
too. So yeah, it's so it's early, but we're not that
Who
far
would
behind
thought
them.
the Pirates be 6-3?
I know the Pirates are playing well, although they're sure they have a good young shortstop that fractured his leg yesterday. So
I watched that game yesterday, man.
Yeah, our UPS guy is a Pittsburgh sports fan, and he was telling me today. He's like, man, he's like, it figures. He's like, the Pirates are actually playing good. He's like, and then our shortstop fractures his leg. I'm like, yeah, I know, bro. I'm like, you guys have been terrible for 30 years, other than a couple, Yeah. So, all right, well let's look at these next 7 games here. So we have the 3 with the Marlins, and we got the 4 with the Braves. I mean, not the Braves, Cincinnati. All right, so are we going to right the ship? How are we doing these next 7? 3 in Philadelphia, then 4 in Cincy. Where are we at a week from tonight? Right now we're 3 and 6. Where are we at a week from tonight? Paul, I'll start with you.
I'm kind of lined with Diego. I think we're take 2 out of 3 out of Marlins, and I say 3 out of 4 from the Reds.
Okay, so that would be 5 and 2. So right now, we're 3 and 6. So if we go 5 and 2, then that's 8. That's what 8
and 8.
Okay, that you know what? I'm good with that. That's to me after 16 games with all the injuries we got, I'm good with that.
Then after that, we face the White Sox, I believe.
Yes, we do. You're right. In Chicago.
All right.
We have a rematch with Houston end this month too.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Let's just not get buried. I mean, if you look, I think the Atlanta Braves last year were 24 and 27 at one point, and they won 101 games. I mean, I'm not saying we're as good as the Braves. But I'm just saying in baseball, you can play 500 for a little while, then you go on that run.
Yeah.
So Diego, where are we at by next week?
Next 7, I say we go 4 and 3. We're 7 and 9.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. Take 2 from the Marlins, split with the Reds, 4 and 3.
Yeah, because we'll probably have to face Lodolo again over in Cincinnati, right? Maybe. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So
and that guy
3-1 though, but yeah.
Hunter Green.
That guy Green's pretty good too, man. That's one thing. Although we'll miss him because he'll probably go Wednesday. So luckily, I think we miss him. So where are we at a week from today?
Agree with the guys, man. 7 and 9.
Okay, so you agree with Diego then? All right. Yeah,
Joey Votto's on his way back too eventually. So.
All right, so I'm going 5 and 2. I think we're going 8 and 8, a typical a Jeff Fisher football season.
Okay,
that's exactly what we're doing at 8 and 8. Because that guy was the king of 8 and 8. Is Jeff Fisher?
Jeff Fisher 8 and 8.
Jeff Fisher 8 and 8. The 8 and 8 football. That's what we're doing. We're going 8 and 8 football season. All right. So, but hey, you know what though?
So early. It's so early in baseball. It's hard to how much do these games actually mean to the players in the field? They're just trying to get into the swing of things too. All of us are just trying to get into the swing of things.
And just like you said, it's no reason to panic. It's 58 games or whatever right now. No need to panic.
Yeah, I agree.
To October and stuff like that when it means.
I just feel write the shit until Bryce Harper gets back, and then it's time, and now it's baseball. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And remember, last year, same exact thing. our hitting didn't get going. Remember, I kept saying it's not even hitting season. It's not even hitting season. Then as soon as the weather broke, they were hitting bombs all over the park. So
Yeah,
that's another thing we got to wait for. It's cold out there when they're playing these games right now.
I hear you. And I totally agree. The only thing is, hopefully, when we are in October, hopefully they're ready to hit because, it gets cold in October too. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. But we already proved adrenaline hits in October.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The adrenaline hits October. It don't even matter. You're swinging for the fences. You're putting everything you got into every at bat. Once you get to like the nice months in the summertime, the ball kind of just does it for you. Get good contact on the ball, and it just goes. That adrenaline carries you through that October run in the cold.
Yeah, I hear you. But hey, look, Phillies are in the beginning of the season. Phillies are in the beginning stages of the season. We got a basketball team that won 54 games.
The most since 01.
The most wins since the Allen Iverson, Larry Brown team in 2000 and 2001.
Okay.
Joel Embiid, and that was also the last time the Sixers had an MVP. And if you look at all the sports books, Embiid is definitely now the favorite for the MVP.
Did he finish? Did he finish with the league scoring title yet, or do we know?
He's the score. He finished with the score.
Okay, cool.
Sixers actually. Embiid finished leading the scoring title, and I believe Harden finished the assist title. I believe it's the first time.
First time ever.
Yes.
Yeah. So 54 wins. And one good thing, if the Sixers do get out of the East, they would have home court advantage because the Sixers, the three best records in the NBA are all in the Eastern Conference.
Okay.
It's Milwaukee, Boston, and the Sixers are the top three teams in all the NBA.
Yeah.
So if the Sixers can go on a run, we would have home court. The Sixers would have home court advantage in the NBA Finals.
Nice.
Yeah. So all right.
That's something we didn't have. That's something we didn't have in 01.
No, and you know what's funny? It's funny how sometimes little things can come back to bite you. And again, I don't think we would have beat the Lakers in 01 anyway. I'll preface it by saying this. But I will say if we weren't so injured, I think we would have won at least one more game, maybe two, because George Lynch was hurt. McKee was out there on one leg. Snow was hurt. Was playing hurt. But the reason we didn't have home court advantage in 01 is because the last game of the season, Larry Brown sat as starters, and the Lakers either won a tiebreaker or they won one more game than us, and that's why the first two were in LA. So it just goes to show you sometimes little things mean a lot.
Right? Yeah, it could have meant a lot.
So, but let's hear. I got a comment right here. Hang on a second here. I got Nico Spencer says last night Timberwolves exploded. Rudy Gobert punched teammate Anderson, and Jaden McDaniels punched the wall and now has numerous fractures. Just gave Lakers a play-in win tomorrow versus the Timberwolves. Yeah, I agree. I would have liked the Lakers anyway, but I really like the Lakers now.
Yeah, definitely. Isn't Gobert suspended, right?
One game.
One game, yes.
In a game that he needs.
Yeah, but think about that. I'll tell you what. Could that Rudy Gobert trade go down as one of the worst trades in NBA history? I mean, they gave up what, like 4 first-round picks plus pick swaps for that dude. And meanwhile, he's not even on the floor in the play. First off, you pay all that to get Rudy Gobert.
Yes.
I think you kind of want to be a little better than just the play-in game, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So you pay all that to get this cat. You're only in the play-in game, and oh, by the way, the fucking guy is not even playing in the play-in game. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
that's better than getting Kyrie Irving though and missing the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what though? Yes and no. Yes and no. I agree with you there because I never thought Kyrie and Luka were really a fit because they both need the ball and nobody plays any defense.
Yeah, but could you imagine being a Mavericks fan and getting Kyrie? You imagine getting Kyrie Irving as a Dallas Mavericks fan. You're like, yeah, we're about to win a championship. Then he just missed the playoffs completely.
Yeah, they have a losing record ever since he came over there.
Yeah.
And Kyrie going to bolt too. Kyrie ain't staying there.
Yeah, exactly right. They're screwed. Now they're better off though. They were better with Kyrie not there, just letting Luka shoot the ball 60 times a game.
Yeah, being the floor general. You're right.
Tell you what, hindsight being 2020, but they would have been better off with Luka, with Spencer Dinwiddie and them cats playing with
100%.
They were better fit.
Definitely. Jalen Brunson, they should have never let Jalen Brunson go.
Yeah.
Well,
They're regretting that. They said.
In all fairness, though, they didn't want to lose Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson, he wanted to go to New York. The Knicks even hired his dad as like an assistant or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that was like strictly like Jalen Brunson wanting to get to New York and like run his own team.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Here I go. We got a couple more comments here. Anthony Stas, what's up, my dogs? What's up,
What's up,
Anthony?
man?
Thanks for checking us out, bro. And then Miko Spencer with another comment here. He says one of the biggest screw ups, 4 first-round picks. Yeah, I mean that trade. I mean that was I don't know. You know what? It's hard to say what's worse, that Minnesota trade or the trade that the Nets made back when they got KG, Paul Pierce, and them guys, and all those dudes were done, and then Boston wound up getting like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a terrible trade too. So I don't know. Maybe I would blame that on Billy King, but I think that was Nets ownership. Here's another comment here about the Miko Spencer. Mavs were in 4th when the trade went down with Kyrie, now eliminated. Yeah,
That's a shame. Pathetic.
That's rough. So all right, well, we'll get it. You know what? I want to get into the play-in games, and I want to get into the playoffs in general. But let's since we're how are we feeling? All right, first off, how are we feeling about this Nets? Is there anything to worry about this Nets series?
No.
There should be nothing to worry about the Nets. It should be the same thing as every other first round since we've been good for the last 5, 6 years, 4 years, whatever.
Any chance they had, they dealt them away. So, I mean, you got Cam Thomas went off the other day, but maybe that's the only player you got to worry about, maybe.
And we still won?
Yeah.
With our backups?
Yeah.
Well, you got the kid from Villanova that the Sixers.
Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges is the only guy that can scare you to go off one game and beat you, but can he do it 4 games? No.
Yeah.
No, he can't. All right, so let's do our series predictions, and then I want to get into if you guys think we're going to make a run. So, real quick, I'll say the Sixers in 5. They do the gentleman's sweep. I think the Sixers take both in Philly. The Nets find a way to steal 1 game in Brooklyn, maybe game 3. Sixers take them 4 and 5 here. Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, my original thought was 4-1. It's hard to sweep a team anyway, so I'm saying 4-1.
All right, Sean, what do you think?
4-1.
All right, Diego?
Sixers going with the sweep. Sixers
Okay.
going with the sweep.
All right. So based on that, now we're moving on to round 2. Hang on, let me get a couple more comments here, but because I want to see if you guys think we're actually going to go on a run here. Real quick here, Miko Spencer says house money always scares me though. Nets versus Sixers. But he says Sixers 4-2.
Oh, that shit
All right.
better not get the 4-2.
All right, Anthony Stas. He says, I love my Sixers, but I'm saying win in 6 against Brooklyn, then lose in 5 against Boston, unfortunately, not being negative. I'm not ready. All right, so he actually, the fact that he brought that up is kind of what I want to get into. All right, first off, let's look at the Eastern Conference. All right, so we got the Sixers. I kind of want to go ahead a little bit because I want to see if you guys, since the playoffs are starting, let's see if you guys think we're going to go on a run. So we've all acknowledged the top 3 teams in the East. The top 2 teams in the East are Milwaukee and Boston. They're 1 and 2. Philadelphia's 3. Then you got very interesting first round series between the 4th seeded Cavs and the 5th seeded Knicks. I think that's going to be a really good series.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
And then
go back and forth.
And then the play-in games are a little interesting to me. So you have tomorrow night. You got Atlanta and Miami in Miami. I think most of us probably think Miami's going to find a way to win that game. But then you have Toronto versus Chicago, and I'll tell you what, Toronto's been playing some really good ball. It wouldn't shock. I think Toronto beats Chicago, and it wouldn't shock me if Toronto took the Hawks out and Toronto winds up in the 8th seed.
I agree.
Wouldn't shock me at all. Toronto Toronto's well coached. They got Nick Nurse. Nick
Yeah.
Nurse is, you know, and you know, the thing about Toronto is they're a tough team. I think they're tougher than Atlanta.
I agree. They got players that play that playoff defense. Barnes, Siakam, you know, guys who can really D up their guards. Fleet's a nice defensive piece. I think Toronto finds a way to get into these playoffs.
All right. So let's say it turns out like that. So that would be Toronto. That would be Toronto and Milwaukee. Toronto and Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Miami and Boston.
All right. So what goes on there? I Toronto's a tough team, but I think Milwaukee takes them out in 5, maybe 6, because Toronto's kind of tough. Miami, Boston. What do you guys think?
That could be a tough series. I still think Boston takes care of them in 6. You know, but Spoelstra and Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy Butler. Adebayo can show up sometimes. Tyler Hero can get hot. Like, they got pieces. I thought they should have been better than a 7th seed.
Yeah, true.
What do you think, Paul?
I'm trying to pull up what was their record against each other this past season, but I still think Boston pulls that out though.
All right,
it'll be game 6, game 7, maybe, but I think Celtics too good. Nothing to pull it out.
All right, and
I love that series. I love that series for Boston now, because if it is a tough, gritty series that Miami can bring, that's our second round opponent. And we cruise through the Nets, we could be a little fresher than them.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Let's just hope the big guy doesn't get an elbow in his face this time.
He should just wear a mask without a broken face.
No,
just put the mask on.
Preventive measure. You're right.
Yeah. You think about it. Embiid's the only guy in America right now where people are like, mask up.
Yeah, right. Wear your mask.
It does make sense, because year in and year out, what's happening.
That was a freak accident. You know?
Exactly. But the porcelain doll should wear the mask.
Yeah. Miko Spencer here. He says Heat are an unsung 7th seed. I agree with Diego. They can get hot. Yeah. Jimmy Buckets, man. Jimmy Buckets in the playoffs. That series could go 6. It could even go 7, because like you look at last year's Eastern Conference Finals. Now, granted, we all know Miami hasn't been nearly as good this year.
Yeah.
They're almost the same team virtually, though.
Right, and they're very well coached, and they have that championship experience. I could very easily see Miami pushing them a little bit.
True.
Yep.
They were 2-2 against each other this season, by the way.
Yeah, see, they're not a good matchup for Boston in the first round.
Now, it's funny, right? Because it's all right. So I think as a Sixers fan, it's kind of like, be careful what you wish for, though, isn't it? Because like I want to sit here and say, all right, well, I'm rooting for Miami, because that would give us, and I'd have to, because we'd have home court advantage, which I think could be really big.
Yes.
But be careful what you wish for, because playoff Jimmy Butler with playoff playoff Spoelstra, that could be a tough ass series too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's one of those like pick your poison type things, you know?
True.
So then the last series, what do you guys think of the Cavaliers and Knicks? How's that series going?
That's a toss-up. That's going to be a matchup and a half. That's the best series in the first round in the East, competitive-wise.
Yeah.
I think Cleveland finds a way to squeak it out. I think Cleveland's a little better.
Yeah, I like the backcourt of them too. Mitchell, and yeah, I think Cleveland pulls it out too. Yeah.
This is where Cleveland can build this like championship pedigree that they're looking for. They traded for Donovan Mitchell, Garland. They have so many pieces there to be really good in the near future that there's always a team that like wins a big series in the first round. That's what kickstarts their playoff runs. You know what I mean? For the future, I feel like it's going to be the Knicks. I mean the Cleveland, the Cavaliers.
Yeah, it's ironic because, and I agree with you, because I think Cleveland has more talent than Atlanta, but remember we thought that about the Hawks a couple years ago. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But I think Cleveland has more talent than Atlanta. Although Trae Young's a great player, but I think Cleveland's got a lot of talent. We'll get into. I'd like to get into this in the future, but we can get into this real quick. Anthony Stass says, "How about the big contract for Tyrese Maxey? did you see the report real quick that there's a report out there that says Tyrese Maxey's going to get a max, like $200 million over like 5 years.
Is he worth that though? Look, I love Tyrese Maxey. I wanted us to draft him. Do I want to pay him $200 million? Dude plays absolutely zero defense.
I know.
That seems a little like an overvalue right there.
Well, and you know what's funny too? We'll see now. All right, let's take this ahead. Say the Sixers do play Boston in the second round. Well, you know Tyrese Maxey has been absolutely atrocious against the Celtics. Now, it would be interesting for as much as Philadelphia has fallen in love with Tyrese Maxey. It'll be really interesting to see the what people think of a max contract if he comes up and averages like 9 points against the Celtics.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's really he's really struggled. And Anthony Stas, to follow up with that, he says it's crazy, but just pay the kid, up and coming star.
What kind of star though? And like Kyrie Irving star?
You don't want to lose him either though.
Yeah, but all right. We already learned with Tobias Harris, you don't just overpay somebody anymore. Let's be real. We just paid a guy $140 million to be on our team that did nothing for 4 years. Did it help us contribute winning championships? None. So let's make sure we don't overpay somebody again.
True.
Yeah, I mean it is a tough one though because first off, I think they're going to do it. So it is what it is because, and I love the kid. I mean, but I think they're going to do it because they aren't going to want to lose him, especially considering James Harden's going to be 34 years old. And there's a question. I don't know if you saw Woj's report, but what Woj came out and said if the Sixers don't make like at least the Eastern Conference Finals, I mean, their heads are going to roll in Philadelphia. So that, who knows? I mean, that could be Harden going. That could be, Doc Rivers going. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so we really don't know. And I don't think the Sixers are going to want to go forward, with the possibility of losing Tyrese Maxey either, Yeah,
I agree.
But then again, though, I mean, is somebody else going to – that's the thing, though. He's a really talented young player, but is anybody else going to give him a max, though? I mean, I got to think, who would give him – seriously, I love Tyrese Maxey, but what team out there would give him a max? I mean, other than a shitty one. Maybe a shitty team out there.
Yeah, I
don't –
Well, it depends. He's young. Does he want the money or does he want to win?
True.
Now, if you're Maxey, and the only team willing to offer you a max deal, a shitty team, you're going to that shitty team.
Yeah.
Because you got to get paid in your career first. Then you can worry about joining a championship team in your second contract.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean,
the Sixers will probably pay him. Let's just hope when time push comes to shove, say he does go and test the market, there's no max deal out there. You know what I mean? For him.
Yeah. But all right. So, but to get back to the playoffs, because that's a question for another day. So to get back to the playoffs here, let's just say second round is Sixers Boston. What's our confidence level? Did last week's win versus Boston, even though they didn't have Jaylen Brown, did Embiid score in 52 and us winning that game? Did that change anybody's opinion on if we could beat the Celtics, or Diego, are you still feeling that second round L?
I still feel that second round L.
Yeah, I mean, if he has to score 52 points for us to beat them, you go count on him to do it every game.
And they didn't have Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
See, but who knows what it does for the players? A big win could really push the momentum to your players against a team. So hopefully that makes them feel like, all right, we could beat this team. We could play with this team. And honestly, I feel like we can. We can play with Boston. We can play with Milwaukee. We're the third best team in the league.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, we won 54 games, so obviously we're doing something right. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, well, I don't know. I'm thinking that we are going on a run, but we'll see. I got another comment here. Joel better get league MVP. I think he is.
When do they announce that?
Before the NBA Finals or before?
No, you know when? A lot of times they do it. No, a lot of times they do it in the second round.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when AI got his John, I think it was like game 2 against Toronto or something like that.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Cool.
So, I'll tell you what, that would be a cool game. That would be a fun game to be at. You know, like game 2 versus Boston, or it'd be game 4, I guess, versus Boston, our second home game. But yeah, I mean, the crowd would be going nuts. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, remember when AI got that, John? He was walking around like cupping the ear and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. You know what's funny though? So I don't know, Diego. You may disagree with me because I know he was your favorite player ever. But I got to keep it real, man. And I'm a Barkley guy too. I love Barkley too. But like since I've been watching ball in '86, Joel Embiid's the best Sixers player I've ever seen.
Joel Embiid's one of the best players I've ever seen.
Yeah,
We're being real. Never seen a guy like him ever. He's a unicorn.
Yeah, the way he moves, the way he shoots, plays D.
I mean, Iris is my favorite player of all time, but let's be real. Their comparison talent isn't even close.
Yeah. True.
Like one more. He does it all. What more does they need to see to him to win the MVP, man?
Exactly.
Yeah, he's
plays great defense too. Like, come on.
What would you shoot it for a big man free throw? 85% at the line? That's unheard of.
Yeah.
You know, but
so here's Miko Spencer with an answer about our ready to go on a run question. He said second round exit 4-2, and B could score 50, but the others need to step it up to support the big guy to win. Boston plays team ball. Boston's definitely deeper. Although I'll tell you, I really think this kid McDaniels that we got may play a big role. And I'll tell you another thing too. A lot of guys' favorite whipping boy, PJ Tucker. The last couple minutes of that game last week, PJ Tucker showed exactly why we brought him in here. He hit those 3 big threes, plus he made some defensive plays.
Tucker matches up well against Tatum.
Yeah. I know. Well, you know that's
Tatum has some shitty games with him covering.
Yeah,
I was all about to say that. Like, so I'm, Sixers concerns. Again, we're jumping ahead against Boston, but Sixers concerns are how Maxi's played. You know what I mean? Well, I'll tell you, the last 2 games, Tatum really struggled the last 2 games against us. If you remember that game at the end of February, Tatum was off that whole game. Now, he did hit that big 3 to win the game, but he was off most of that game.
He was. That's what I'm saying. PJ was in his ass.
Yeah, as he should. Just like we said before, we didn't kind of agree with the signing, but he's paying dividends and what he's came here to do.
Basketball is a lot about matchups. You know what I mean? Like I said, PJ matches up well against Tatum. If you put him up against Trae Young, he's probably going to get fried. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. You're right. I mean,
that's another good thing for if we do make it past Boston, then we got to go play the Bucks. He's another guy that can get a body on Giannis.
True.
You know what I mean? He's a player like that where you can always throw at the other guy's best player. So I still hate bringing him, but this is PJ Tucker time now.
And our
play defense. You do one thing.
Like we've always said, our bench is inadequate. It needs to step up and say, "Yo, we're not going home the second round."
It's going to be a really short, quick bench against the Celtics. Though, I'll tell you that.
It is, but I love to see an unsung hero.
They could probably go 10 deep in a series. We can't go 10 deep in a series.
Yeah,
not maybe in the first round, not that second round. That's going to have to be an 8-man rotation right there.
Yeah,
we better not. Miko
exactly. We better not. With Doc Rivers, they'll have a whole fucking second unit lineup in there in the third quarter of Game 7 against Boston.
Yeah,
and he'd be like, "Well, they're playing good."
You'll have Cork Mash try to shoot some threes.
Yeah, come on. As long as you don't do that.
Miko Spencer with the comment here. He says Tucker versus Tatum, Smart versus Maxey/Harden. Great matchups on both sides. Totally agree. Yeah. And one of the reasons why I think I may be in the minority, but I actually think the Sixers are going to beat Boston. And one of the reasons I say that, they don't have anybody that can match up with Joel Embiid. I know Al Horford in the past has given him some problems, and that scares me a slight little bit. But I feel like this version of Joel Embiid, as long as nobody elbows him, please nobody elbow him in the face, okay? As long as he don't get elbowed in the face, I think Embiid's putting up 45 a night against Boston.
Yeah, Boston does a good.
He forced Al Horford last game too.
Yeah.
Boston does a good job at team defense against Embiid. They help really well. Marcus Smart is down him really well. They do other things. They have no one to match up with a one-on-one, but they can play good team defense against Embiid and force him into turnovers in best ways. And we've seen it happen.
Well, the turnovers in the bad situation makes me nervous, but I do think he'll go for 40, 45. We just have to hope. Okay, please, in a close game, don't I can see Marcus Smart coming down and ripping the ball out of his hands in like a big spot on a double team, and that scares the shit out of me.
Back to what Paul said, though, it's like Embiid's going to score his 50 points. Who's going to score? Who's going to help him beat Boston? Because if it's just him, we're not beating Boston.
You know who I would love, and I've said it time and time again, Tobias.
That's what I think he's the biggest part.
Yeah.
He's the biggest part. Tobias Harris.
Yeah. He needs to step up and play night in and night out. Not just one game, throughout the first and second round.
They don't have anybody that can match up against Tobias.
Yeah.
I mean, Grant Williams is all right, but Tobias Harris can score on Grant Williams. He's not the best defender either. He's undersized.
Yeah, there you go. Grant Williams is his name. You're right. Yeah.
Everyone's got to play their part in this in the Boston series to win that game, to win that series. If Sixers beat Boston, I'm going to go out and say Sixers beat the Bucks too.
Exactly. I think we match up well with the Bucks.
Yeah, they'll be riding on a high. Absolutely.
They would the Sixers going to have to feel so great about themselves finally getting out of that second round. Yeah. That going into that Eastern Conference final, I think the pressure would be down a little bit. Instead of up high, it'd be down because our biggest hurdle has been the second round. You know what I mean? And then being error. So once we get over that hump, I feel like that could be just a fast track to the finals. Beat Bucks, bang, we're in the finals.
Well, I was going to say it could kind of be like if you remember, different sport but same story. The Phillies had such a hard time getting into the playoffs that getting into the postseason was such a hurdle. Mm-hmm. Then they went on a run because they were like, "Oh shit, we're actually here."
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Mike Lauro is being positive. He said, "Sup, fellas? Road ends with Boston."
Yeah, well, and then we trade Embiid, and then he wants us to trade Embiid after that.
Huh. Yeah. So, but hey, listen. You know what? We can debate this for the next couple weeks. We can debate this for the next couple weeks here, but.
First game is Saturday, right? 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Yeah, 1 o'clock Saturday. So
we'll do prediction for game one.
Sixers are going to win. I mean, I said gentlemen sweep in 5 games. So
Sixers by 20 game one.
Yeah, I don't know about 20. Sixers sometimes have a hard time with 1 o'clock games, but I think we win though. I think we win game one. So
all right, 20, bet it.
All right, so listen. We are 2 weeks away from the NFL draft, and I want to get a little bit of draft talk real quick because I had a question for you guys. But before we do, let me give a shout out to our sponsors here. Anybody out there with some legal trouble, workers' compensation, motor vehicle accidents, personal injury, or criminal law, call my man David R. Cherry Esquire at 610-565-0300 or go on www.cherryinjurylaw.com. So, if you get banged up at the Sixers game or something happens, call my man up. He'll help you out. Dolan's Bar, really good bar down Delco. I know Mike Lauro, who just commented, I know he's frequented this place a few times. Quizzo and Music, great times. Memorabilia giveaway. It's at 24 East Sellers Avenue in Ridley Park, PA 19078. So go down there and check them out. Anybody want to get tickets? Maybe even for one of these Sixers games. www.sherrystickets.com. Family owned and operated since 1946. You could save 10% off the promo code EOP10. You could get sports, concerts, and theater. Great prices, no hidden fees. Because I'll tell you, those hidden fees can add up, man.
Yep.
Philly sports trips. As you can see, they're quite popular. Look at all the sold outs. You know what I mean? But they do have some openings. It looks like for the Kansas City draft, April 27th to 30th. And then you got a Union trip. I know my man Diego. He's Mr. Union. He goes down there and covers the Unions. He does a great job. So they got a union trip down there May 13th to the 16th in Colorado. So make sure you check out Philly Sports Trips. And we have here is the lineup for EOP. As you can see, the Sully squad there on Monday night, but there's something for everybody on there. I know on, soccer fans, they have the attacking third at 9 o'clock. On Thursdays, lacrosse fans out there, there's a lacrosse show. And of course, check out all the other shows, and make sure you check out Fighting's Final. If the Phillies continue to lose, make sure you call up Matty B and Mike and Pat and all them guys and air your grievances. So, all right, listen. So we got the NFL draft coming up in 2 weeks. I've been listening to the radio a lot. The Eagles. I think most people think the Eagles are going to go probably line because that's what they usually do. But the big topic on a lot of the radio stations, and even Peter King actually brought this up, Bijan Robinson. Is there any way the Eagles take this guy? Do they trade down and take him? What do you think? Because as all I'm hearing, it doesn't make sense. I don't see the Eagles doing it because it doesn't sound like something they would do. But what do you? First off, would one of you guys do it? And do you think they'll do it? Paul, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, that rumor will not go away. I hear it all the time. But I don't see them doing that. I mean, I think they're okay with the running back room. Maybe they'll grab one in the later rounds. But I don't see them reaching high at 10 for a running back, like you said. Maybe if Carter's there, you pick Carter. But yeah, I think a defensive player at that pick. But I don't really see them going after Bijan.
Okay, but how do you feel about it though? Because I think we all would be pretty shocked. I mean,
we were shocked when they took Jalen Hurts, right? We didn't expect that either. You know what I mean? So
second round, yeah.
I'll freely admit, and I was dead wrong. I was pissed when they picked Jalen Hurts because I was like, "What the fuck are they doing?"
Everybody in Philly's mouth just dropped. Like, what the f they're doing?
Yeah. Okay. Why are we getting him when we have Wentz?
Yeah.
But little did we know they knew something that we didn't know.
Right.
Well, all right. So I would draft Bijan Robinson. You know what I mean? He's probably top 10 player, top 10 talent in the draft. You know what I mean? He would make this offense just unstoppable at every position. Do I think how he does it? No. But the best thing about this draft is the Eagles aren't going in with one specific need. So if they just have a board of their top 10 players, for example, right? And Bijan's 10 and the 9 guys go ahead of him, Eagles are taking Bijan Robinson. And I feel like that's the more the philosophy they can go in with to this draft with not having a specific need somewhere. So it could be a surprise pick like that.
Yeah, and so like I said, I've seen all the shows and seen all the stuff where they go, no way, you don't take a running back early. No way, that's crazy. And 9 times out of 10, I'll agree with you because I could also make the argument that maybe you take a Gibbs at number 30 or maybe you take the kid from UCLA in the second round.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of arguments I can make. Then the draft is pretty deep in running back. But the reason that I would be for it, number one, you're going to have to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, Cincinnati Bengals, Buffalo Bills, one of these teams that score a lot of points. You're going to have to win you're beat in the Super Bowl. Okay, well, you had a guy like a Bijan Robinson. Like if I told you, like you say you come up with this argument, say I'm not taking a running back early. What if I told you were taking the possibility of a young Marshall Faulk? You're telling me, and you could add him to A.J. Brown. Now, I'm not saying this kid is Marshall Faulk, but I'm just saying, in hypothetically, say I'm adding a dynamic running back to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Goddard. You know what I'm saying? You could even play some 2-back sets. Maybe you split Gainwell out. You know what I mean, dude? That offense is scoring. If you're in a big game, that offense is getting you 31 to 35 points, and you put pressure on the other team just like the Kansas City Chiefs do.
Yeah.
How many times do you watch the Chiefs play? The Chiefs haven't had a great defense. You know what happens with the Chiefs? they put so much pressure on the other team that a lot of times the other team commits a big turnover in a big spot because they're trying so hard to keep up with the Chiefs' offense. Mm-hmm. And that's how the Chiefs win a lot of these football games.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Like I said, I'm all in for Bijan.
I do it. He's a game changer.
You would do it too?
Yes, absolutely. He's a game changer. Like we said before, is he there at 10?
Yeah, I think he'll be.
Let me ask you a question. So if we do draft Robinson, what does that do with our running back room where you got Gainwell, Sermon that's been on the practice squad forever? Then you sign Penny.
Then you Brooks.
What happens there then?
I don't care.
I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, first off, Boston Scott signed here for $2 million. He's the highest paid back you got. Gainwell might be a little pissed. Penny might be a little pissed too because he came here to reestablish his value. But my simple thought to him would be, well, bro, we only guaranteed you like 500,000. Like
right.
Then you're injured, bro.
I mean, I like.
Do they cut him?
Well, I mean, if he looks good in camp, no, I think he'll be here.
I hope he here.
But
they're not going to cut him.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean. To me, I don't. If I have a chance to get a dynamic talent, even if I only have him for 5 years, I'm getting the best 5 years of football out of this guy as I'm a Super Bowl contender. You add a young dynamic talent like him to this offense, you could possibly win. You could win a Super Bowl or 2 or 3 if you add that. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Seriously, I got a couple more comments here. Miko Spencer, it's the pounding of Zeke and scat back of Pollard. Scary if Eagles grab the power back. Yeah. And then Miko Spencer again with another comment. He wants Gibbs. He said, all I want is Gibbs at 26 for Christmas in April for him. Yeah, but do you see Dallas drafted a runner in the first round there? They did just franchise Tony Pollard though. I mean, that's a lot of resources for them, isn't it?
No, they're going defense.
You think they're going defense? Okay.
Yeah, they probably need a corner, right, or safety.
Anthony Stas, he says, do you put a franchise tag on A.J. Brown and Devontae? Well, neither of those guys are up.
No.
So
Devontae Smith after next year?
Maybe. I mean, I think they'll. I mean, I would think they'd probably work out a long-term deal for him.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Plus, franchise tag for a receiver that's pretty high anymore. I mean, I don't even know what that would be, but that'd be a lot of money.
Or Bijan's going to be there, and you got a team that wants a quarterback so bad. Do you trade back, give that 10, and you're getting a first-round draft pick next year on top of the 19th pick from Buccaneers? Do you do something like that?
Well, you mean if
Bijan's going to be there going back?
Oh! I'll tell you right now. If Tampa Bay offers me number 19 and a first rounder in 24, if there's not a guy that I absolutely love there, I'm making that move all day long.
Yeah,
me too.
Definitely.
Absolutely. There you go.
And if you go to 19, Bijan Robinson might be there at 19. So then you got the best of both worlds, and you got two first. Exactly. Then in 24, you got 2 1s and 2 2s and 2 3. And oh my God, you'd have like 1 million picks next year.
It's like
build the defense up next year.
You got fool's gold. You could either keep them or trade them, and then you got your 30th pick.
Exactly. So, all right. So we're actually different than a lot of the other people and shows because we all would take them. Right? Or did you say you would, Paul, or no?
I mean, I'm more like you guys. I would, but I don't see how we doing that.
Right.
Well, I don't either. I mean, I think
although that will cement our offense for a very long time.
Exactly. I would love to see him turn the tables and draft a guy that, which we never do, draft a running back. And do it and be like, damn. And then you got a lights out offense, man.
Yeah.
This kid, like you said, is a game changer. Could he be a Could he be an Edgerrin James? We don't know, but the tape don't lie. His highlights are incredible. Receives, runs, does it all. And I'd be hyped up. But I know, like Paul and Diego said, there's certain areas that you have to address, but you can address that with the 30th pick.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like Howie did a decent job, addressing some of those needs in free agency. I mean, the kid, the
Williams.
Yeah, the D tackle that we just signed from the Saints.
Street.
I mean, he
Edmonds too.
Yeah, I was gonna say he had 6 sacks in like a what do you call it, a rotational role.
Yeah.
So I mean, he could add a little pass rush. You did take Jordan Davis in the first round last year. I mean, he started off really good and then he got hurt. Well, you're going to have to bank on Jordan Davis really taking that step up. I mean, he's going to. I mean, you spent the 13th or 14th pick on him. I mean, he's got to take that step forward. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, the Phil Hargraves cleats. You're right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, guys. You know what? Hey, look. Like I said, we're 2 weeks from the draft. We'll get more into that. Next week will probably be more prime draft. There'll be more rumors coming out and all that stuff. Real quick before we get out of here, what did you guys think of Diego? I know he's like one of your favorite players. Odell Beckham signed with the Ravens. What do you think of that?
That's a nice signing. Overpaid though. 1 year, $18 million is outrageous.
Well, that's with incentives though. That's incentives.
Still $15 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
So that's still too much for Odell. Odell's probably worth, like, at this point in his career with all the injuries and stuff, a 1 year, $10 million.
Well, maybe they're doing it to try to sway Lamar to stay there.
Yeah, right after ODB got signed, he was on FaceTime with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, so, they don't have all they have there is that rookie last year, I believe. So
well, they got him.
So
good sign. Yeah, well, I was just curious, because I mean that was I can't remember the last time I really saw breaking news on like Easter was when the Eagles traded Donovan McNabb.
Yeah.
That kind of told me that Lamar's. I can't imagine Odell Beckham Jr.'s going there without Lamar going there. So I think
I agree.
Why would he go there with like a rookie quarterback or like the second string quarterback? You know what I mean?
Like they said to each other. I mean, maybe they had this little thing like, yo, I'm signing with you. Come down.
Miko Spencer says, I'll give you 4 first rounders for Howie Roseman so we can build a team for the future. Lamar wants Watson, guaranteed money up front before signing. I've heard that too, but then Lamar's kind of disputed that. So it kind of depends on what you read. And no, we're holding on to Howie Roseman, the best GM in the National Football League. We're holding on to him. Well, okay. I think he's the best GM. The guy in Kansas City's up there too. Veach, he's up there too. So he's one of the top 2 or 3 GMs in football. So, but hey, you know what though? The draft's still 2 weeks away, and we'll get into a lot of this next week. There'll be more rumors, I'm sure. Any other thoughts before we get out of here, guys? Anything? Diego, you got anything you want to plug? Anything about the union or anything?
No, just check the Attack at 30 out. Thursdays at 9:00. I'm always on that. The Union aren't playing good right now, but they got a big game on Wednesday. So if you like soccer, just check us out on Thursday to get all that talk about the game from Wednesday. It's like a playoff game kind of. So
all right, good soccer fans. Make sure you check them out. And I know you were Paul. Me and Paul will be diving into Major League Baseball tomorrow night. We'll be on at 8:00 on our show Extra Innings on the Out of Box Network. So we'll be discussing the Phillies and the whole league. And
a lot of surprises, a lot of injuries already too this year.
Oh yeah.
How about the Tampa Bay Rays? Are they a well-run organization or what?
Yes.
I mean, shit, they're 9-0 and they got like a $70 million payroll.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you got some guys that can hit, man.
Their pitching is unreal. The Rays pitching is just unbelievable.
Pick your poison. You're right. Yeah.
So check us out. Check us out tomorrow night. Check Diego out on EOP at Thursday night. Check out all his articles.
And Wednesday.
Or would you say Thursday or Wednesday? I'm sorry, DA.
Thursday, 9 p.m.
Yeah,
Edge of Philly Sports, baby.
All right. Well, sounds good, and we'll be back next week, and we'll go Sixers. Let's see. When's game? I didn't see when game is game 2 Monday or Tuesday. I didn't see that. I know.
Didn't look that far into it.
Yeah, I think game 2 might be Tuesday, but I'm not sure. Well, anyway, regardless, game 1 will be in the books. Hopefully, the Sixers will be up 1-0, and so go Sixers. Play the song, and Phillies right the ship. See you guys next week.